Okay. Let's try to see an image of lazy loading. By image, I can explain. Mm, Component, home component, products, logging, not like this. This we can try. Okay. So till now, like if you know Angular, so how do we create the project? So in the earlier version, now lazy loading is still there now, but no one use it as we used to use it before. Means before the standalone component where we used to have app module. So previously, what used to happen if your project is very small, let's say 10 to 12 component or max 20, 30 components are there. So your standard application used to be there. You will have one app module, right? And in app module, you will have multiple component. Okay. And all component you used to register into your app module declaration section. Okay. But consider if your component are growing around 50 or 100 or 20, 200 components are there, then loading all this component on the page load, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Means when you create the build, whole your application code will be in a single that vendor or main.js. Okay. But on the page load, whenever you load the application, you are going to need only login component code. You don't need the dashboard. You don't need the employee or any other module, right? But all was registered into your app module. So whole when application load, whole of your Angular code, either your component, directives, pipes, whatever you have created, everything loaded at the initial only. So loading time was increased. Okay, try to imagine it. When you create a build, let's say in your Angular application, you have 200 components and all 200 components are registered into your app module only. Some directives, some pipes, custom pipes are there. So when you create a build and deploy it somewhere, when you load for the first time and by default only your login page load, still your whole component code will be loaded because you have a single module. So instead of going like that, we divide our application into feature modules. Now, what is the word is features. Okay. So feature module. Okay. Now, what is feature module means? What are feature means? Let's say you have e-commerce application. So you divide your e-commerce application into modules, right? Let's say product is a module, add to cart is a module, order is a module, customer is a module, shipping is a module, like that. So we divide big project into small module. And then we create multiple modules also. In normal application, you will have only one app module. But in lazy loading, you will have different module, product module, add to cart module, order module. And all the component pipes and directives you are going to need in order module that you will keep it registered over here. All module you will need it for add to cart will go over here. All component and directives you need for customer module will go over here. So you are not adding all the component directives and pipe into your app module. Every component will be attached to a particular module. So whenever, let's say you have a auth module, login, register, forgot password, these three components are registered to your app module. So when you navigate, by default, your application is loading login page. So only auth module will get loaded. It won't load dashboard, product or anything. After login, once you navigate to the dashboard, then your dashboard module code will get loaded. So that is lazy, means calling the resource whenever it is needed instead of having it available. Either doesn't matter you are using it or not. That is the term lazy loading. Calling the module whenever you need it, calling the code whenever you need it. Okay. So this is the overall structure. Okay. Now to understand it, first we need to create our the old application project with application false. So here I will create an old application. Wait, we did create it, right? Old app. Okay, so I will use this only. Yes, but it will have something else. Let me create a new one only so we don't get confused. Simply ng new lazy loading. We need the structure with app module. Okay, so hyphen stand alone false. So it will create the older structure project with the app module. CSS, don't need it, none. So let it create. Till that time, we will open that. VS Code, new window, open folder, lazy loading. Okay, so let's consider our e-commerce application only, so you can easily relate also ki how your feature model are going to be. So in your SRC folder, you got your app module. So this is your parent app module where all the, if you don't go for a lazy loading, all the component directives pipes what you create will be registered over here in the declaration section. Okay. Now, so let's say you are working on an e-commerce application and you want to divide your module like, let's open in Notepad. Let's say you will have some modules like, let's say customer modules. In customer module, how many components you will need in customer module? See, module is like when you have a project, forget about technology. If you have a big project, you divide it into modules, right? So here we call it feature module. What you have it over there module, how you break your big project into smaller project, that is nothing but feature module. So if I'm saying ki customer is a feature module, what components will be there in customer feature module? What components you will need in customer feature module? Add customer, customer list, something like that. The components which you are going to need to complete the customer feature. So let's say customer form component, then customer list component, customer address component. Okay. So in customer feature module, you will have these three components. Then let's say products. In products, again, you will need component for the product. So let's say create product list. Let's say thumbnail or images. Okay. Again, so many components will be there. Just like that card feature. So according to every feature, you will have different component created in that particular module only. Okay. Now, instead of having only one module, you will create multiple module according to your feature. Start it. Now here I will be creating pages folder. And here first I have to create call it. First we will create folder or we will directly run the command. Try to create the command folder first. Let's say customer. Then cart orders. Okay. Now what we need to do? We need to create module. We need to create module plus its routing. Okay. So let's say if we talk about customer, so right click, we have to create a module now. Just like app module was there, just like we have to create our own module now. So ng generate module customer. And we need the routing of that module file also. Whatever the feature module you said, its routing will be inside this module only. Okay. That is the nothing but lazy loading syntax, what interview question they ask. Hyphen routing. If I'm not wrong, this is the command. Ng generate module, your module name, and you need the routing also. Routing. Let's see. Should create true files. Yeah. So you can see we got module file. Just like app module, you can see you got a module file and your routing file over here. Then for cart also, I will do the same. Here it will be cart model. Enter. Just for order also, I will do the same. So I have decided I'm going to have three features. So I'm creating three different modules. Enter. So we have created three features: cart, customer, and order. Now coming back to customer. So we got one folder inside it. Let me move it to the top. We don't need to create the folder, I think. Directly we can create it. Let's move it over here. So we don't need this customer folder. Let's do it for all. Now no one use it, but just to clear intro, we should know it because there are projects where we are using old project where still lazy loading is structure is there. Okay. So we have three features created: cart, customer, and the order. Now in customer, I have to create the component. So here I will create folder components. Instead of just creating over here, I'm just putting all the components into my component folder. Right click, open. Now customer, let's say I need ng generate customer, component and create customer or customer form. Okay, this is my first component. Now see what happens. It has created 4 files and then it has updated your customer module. Normally in old application, when you create the component, your component file gets added, component class name gets added to your app module. But now here you can see, since we have run this command on a specific module, so it has registered this component into your specific module. See, it has added over here. Let's create one more customer list. Enter. Getting it? So all the module you create over here will get registered to this section only. So you are not, whatever the component you are going to need in customer will be over here and all will be registered in this module only. Just like that, let's try on card. Ng generate customer card list. Component got created and it got added to the specific module, cart module. Let's say wish list also. Okay. So in cart component also, we have two components that got registered into your cart module. Then order. Ng generate component order list. So see, order list got added over here. Open order. And one more component, let's say order payment. Okay. So in order feature, we have created three components. So all the three components got added over here. So what we did till now, we created three modules: cart, customer, and order. And in each module, we have created respective component also. Now, how do you create the routing? So routing is the main part. Now, in your app component, or before going over there, so in each module, we have routing. So in cart component, we have two components. So the routes of these two components, you will create in over here only. Okay. So here you will create the route of your cart list and wish list. Path, cart, list. Cart list component. Second, wish list. And here your wish list component. Okay. So in card feature, we have two components. So that routing also we created in the routing file only. Just like that in customer now. Customer component, customer form, path. Here it will be customer hyphen list component customer list. Okay. Then your order. In order component, you have three components. So you will create three routes. Path, let's say orders, order list, path, open order, payments, order type. Okay. So we have three module and all three module have respective routing file. So all the component, whatever we have created, we created respective routing in that respective routes for those component in a respective routing file. Okay. Now, so directly we cannot access this component. In app module, we have to create your routing for the, currently we have created routing for the specific component. Now in app module, you will create the routing for your modules. Okay. So here you will create routes for your module, not the component, modules. Then in modules, you already have the routing for the component. So path, let's say first will be, let's say your customer. Now here, instead of component, you will use loadChildren. Okay. Now you have to dynamically load the component. Sorry, your module. Import slash pages slash customer slash your module file. Dot then what you need? Specific module dot customer module. So this will be, this is nothing but what we call it as a lazy loading syntax. Okay. Instead of creating a route for your component, you create a route for your module file. Now in this module file, you already know routing. See, in your module file, routing file is there and that routing is over here. Okay. So just like this, path. Second was your order. loadChildren, import pages slash and slash order module dot com. You need order model from that. Path. What is the path now? loadChildren, import dot specific model. Okay. So this is how your parent routing will be there for the specific modules. Okay. And in every specific module, you will have component level routing. Okay. Let's try to run the application now. NGS. New wrap component. Let's remove everything. So now let's say you want to access your customer list. So how you will access it? Module, your module route, that is customer, slash your specific route from customer module, customer list. If everything is correct, we should be able to load the customer. See, got it? This is how your routing will be now. Module, then individual route name. Okay. Order. And from order, one of the route. Open the. Understood? This will be your routing like this. So to implement lazy loading structure, this is what you have to do. Understood? So we divide our project into smaller feature. All the component into that feature will get registered over there. So you are not disturbing the whole application. Now, with this structure, what will happen? When you create the build, and by default, let's say you are loading customer page. So only customer module code will load. From customer, you are navigating to the order, then order module code will load. So you're not loading all the component on the first load only. Whatever is needed, you will load it at that time. Like that, it will behave. So in older structure, like whole code was there in your render.js. But now here you will get multiple chunks for every module. Clear? So in interview, they will ask you, yeah, what is the syntax of it? So this is nothing but routing syntax of lazy loading.
But when it loads the order, then it loads all the components in that order, right?
Yes. Specific module load, whatever component you create, let's say cart module, whatever the component, directive, pipes you created over here, all it will load. Because all are registered over here in the module. You are loading a module, so everything you registered over here will get load.
Okay.
Now, let's say, whenever you create the component, you will have some reusable component. So where you will keep your reusable component, right? Because here the structure we are seeing like, yeah, module will be there and every module will registered over there. So just like this, we will create a shared module also. Let's directly create it. We'll create the folder icon. Now we need shared module. Ng generate module shared. Yeah, shared folder is created. Now here we will have components. What you can create now? Component, pipes, and your directives. Now let's say here you have created your reusable table. Ng generate component, my table. You have created one reusable component, my table. Now this component, you want to use it. This got added over here. Now this table component, you have to load it into customer. So what you will do in your customer module, wait, we didn't export it. So let me show you first. So let's say you have created a shared module. Inside that, you have created a reusable component that got added over here in shared module. Now, if you want to use table component into customer list, so what you will do, you will load the shared module over here. So in the import section, you will load shared module. Okay. Now in customer list, let's see if we are able to use that table module. App icon. Currently, it's not coming, but let's try to directly add the selector. App my table. We loaded the module. Shared module we have loaded into customer module. Save it. Let's try to access it. Here it is giving error. It is not able to understand what is app module. In the older folder structure, if you are using a component somewhere, that component has to be registered in your app module. Then only you can use it. If your component is not registered into your app module, you won't be able to use. This is the kind of error you will get. Currently also the same thing. We are trying to access one component from another module into another module. It is not allowed. So from shared module, you have to first export the component. Then only you will allow it. So in the module, you need export and you will use my table over here. As soon as I add it in my module export, let's go back to customer list. Why it is still not moving? We imported it, right? Why it is still not able to position? That one. So well, we don't have an Yeah, now it works. Okay. So if you have something in one module and you want to use it into another module, you have to export it. Then only other module can use it. So in shared module, we added the component which I'm going to use in across the module. I have to export it. Then only I have to load my shared module into another module. Then I can use their component. Currently also you are doing the same thing in standalone component. If you want to use one component, you import it directly. But here, this component is registered to your shared module. If you want to use it into another module, from shared module, you have to export it. It's like giving a permission. Okay, yes, outside this module also you can use this component. Then whatever the module you have to use it, import the module over there and you can use it. Understood? Let's say from customer module, you have a customer card and that you want to use in card. So you have to export that component over here. Then you can use it over here. It's not about just shared module. You have some component over here and that component you have to use it into your cart also, customer card. From here, you have a customer card component where you are showing just the customer data. And that customer card component, you have to use into your cart list also, where you are going to show the customer information. So instead of redesigning itself again, you have to export it from over here. Then you can import the module and then you can use it like that. But again, we don't create a reusable thing over here. We try to put it over here. Understood? So this was your lazy loading structure in the older folder structure when with app module. Now we don't use it, okay, because we have standalone components. So what was the main behind idea of this? This module was dependent. Whatever this customer module need, everything it has it over here only. Whatever that cart module need, everything, whatever it needs, it has over here. Here it was a module, but now that same idea is into your single component. Okay, whatever that component need, there itself we have it. Got it? Here it was behaving like a module. There it is directly component. Okay. Understood? So just give it a try. Try to set up a new project, create it with standalone file. So you get the app module. Now, in the older folder structure, how you will do it? Sorry, with the standalone. And 22.
So as you are saying, whatever we write in module, now in new structure, we directly write in component only.
Yes. In component only we import whatever we need, right? Forms module, reactive form module, anything.
Yes.
So there, earlier we used to do that in your module. Let's say in customer module, you are going to need ng model. So where you will add it? In your module here. Forms module. Now in customer module, doesn't matter how many components are there, they can use NgModule. Got it? So this thing we used to do it under the module level. Now that thing is moving to your component level. Clear? So here module was independent. Yeah, whatever that module need, everything was there itself. In your standalone, component behaves like that. Whatever that component need, in that component only we add everything. It doesn't depend on any outside component or anything. Here it was same role module was playing. Clear all?
So with the latest version, say suppose if we have 10 components, right? And all 10 of them, they need some 5 or 6 imports. So definitely all
We
we
can
have
create.
to do.
No. So let's say in new folder structure, let's say forms module and reactive forms module and what other modules are there? Let's say forms module and reactive form module. You are using it in almost every component. So what you can do?
Common modules.
No. Constant we create. We don't have to go. See, in standalone component, if you are creating module, that doesn't make sense then. If in your standalone component, if you are creating a module, then that is just what do we call it now? That you're not using the full potential of standalone. If you are creating module in a standalone project, okay? Create a constant file. Get our project and let's do. Let's say. So here you can see ng form module and ng. Let's say this ng form, ng if and ng for in almost component you are going to need. Okay. Ng for remove. Ng can come in. Ng for is not coming. How? We have to import it. Okay. Let's say in all the component you are using these 3 modules. So instead of writing this again and import of the import statement also, what you can do, you can move this to your constant file. You are just creating an array of modules. Where it is constant. Let's say here I'm creating another export constant common imports. Okay. Let's say related to your common module. Modules array, and here you will import your forms module. Then ng for ng if. Okay. So in your constant file, you have created a constant and there you have just added the 3 import, whatever you are going to need. Now in all the component, instead of writing this again and again, common, remove it, common imports dot common module like this. So you don't need this import everywhere. You can directly use it from there. So we create a combination of modules, whatever the modules are commonly used in every component, we try to divide it. Common module, one for ng style, ng class like that. And we import it over there. So this we can do, but we don't go on creating the modules. Okay. But now here also, let's say you want to lazy load the component. So we have a syntax for that. So instead of loading directly component, so we have load, there we have loadChildren. So here we have load component. So now you are lazy loading the particular component instead of the route, because here we don't have module or something. So you can lazy load particular component also. This is the lazy loading syntax in new. /page/ user dot them like this. So this is the syntax of lazy loading in your standalone component. So instead of loading the your component, your module, you load your you load your component lazy. This is the syntax of that. If someone asks you any question about lazy loading, so once you explain the older folder structure, definitely they will ask you new way ki how in standalone, how do I do the same thing by using load component? You are lazy loading the component itself, not module, not routing or something, directly component you are lazy loading. Okay. Clear all?
Here, can we group multiple components into one, or is it all the time?
We have to create a route. Instead of loading component, here you will load the route. So you will, let's say 3 components are there and that you want to load it initially. So you will create a different routing. And inside that routing, you will add 3 component route. 3 component route you will create. And here you will load the routing file. In loadChildren, here you will load some routing file. Let's say you have created a routing file where just 3 components are there for specific module. So you will load the routing file. Even if you load the routing file, all these 3 components get loaded because in routing, you will have the component like that. So either you load a component or you load a routing file. Let's say we don't have something like that, but let's say you created a folder and inside that folder you have kept 3 components. So in that you will create another routing file and all the 3 components you will add it over their routes and that route you will load over here like that. So all the 3 components will get loaded. So this is, you should know about lazy loading. But again, no, this is just for interview. With standalone, this doesn't make sense now because whatever module was supposed to do, now your component is doing the same thing. So no need of going and creating different models like that. Okay. Clear?